Go.
Hello YouTubers and Pal Talk fans. I want to give you all a warm welcome to my chat room, and also to all of my YouTube fans to this live video that we're making in my chat room called 9/11 Pathway to Armageddon on paltalk.com. And you all can see that here's this my chat room right here with all the friends that come to listen to this commentation of what's happening right now inside of Japan. I want to give you all the updates to all the things that I found and discovered, and jaw-breaking and heart-wrenching information to who was involved in causing this nuclear meltdown inside of Japan. And I'm going to try to give you all as clear as I can the information that I found, and try to show you and connect the dots for you so that you can see who was responsible for causing this meltdown and why it was done, is what we're going to try to get to here in just in this 30-minute video that we're going to make. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you all to the Pal Talk. You can download Pal Talk at www.paltalk.com and go to all the chat rooms and selections under the social issues and human rights. You will find my room 9/11 Pathway to Armageddon, and I would ask anybody to join us in the future to listen to more update news on the situation and other news around the world. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to first break off. I'm going to show you some news here coming out of the area of Japan. Now, this right here is from the Haaretz newspaper, and what I found here is mind-boggling. I cannot believe what I'm seeing here. I've seen an article labeled and titled as Iran nuclear worm targeted Natanz Bushehr nuclear sites. In this document here, this article, it states that the Israeli and the United States were working in a place called Demona Isreal, in a laboratory, military laboratory that is, and they were conducting a very powerful, sophisticated virus known as Stuxnet. And what they are, Stuxnets, or I can't pronounce this word. Stuxnets. And what this virus does, it attacks the computer control panels, and also it encrypts codes and breaks codes and puts what you call artificial coding inside of the panels in nuclear power plants. So what you see here is that they were trying to target Iranian nuclear plants here last year by planting this virus, which caused all kinds of havoc and problems for the Iranian people that were trying to build their nuclear power plant. And here you see that they came up with a virus that is not able to delete out of the system once it's been launched. In a meltdown scenario, when there's no power being fed to the plant itself, what happens is the plant sends off a computer communications to the generators in the nuclear power plant, which causes those generators to cut on for backup power to keep those reactors cool. What we see here is a virus that was planted into the plant mainframe computer system, and it shut off the generators to that power plant inside of Iran. Now, this is what I believe happened inside of Fukushima, and I'm going to show you why. When you go to this article on the Haaretz newspaper, this is the actual official article that on their newspaper there in Jerusalem, it states, Israeli firm which secured Japan nuclear plant says workers there putting their lives on the line. Now, in this article, it also stated, when you read down the article, it stated that the security firm that was from Israel that was controlling the security plant had left a week earlier, while the workers were left behind to try to maintain the safety of this nuclear plant during this catalytic and catastrophic event that was taking place there on the island of Japan. Now, this report was also reported on the New York Times that Israeli test a worm called crucial in Iran nuclear delay. In other words, they even admit here that they were going inside of Iran and planting a virus in their nuclear power plant. Now, that explains to me why the generator shut down in Fukushima. And because the Fukushima generators are designed to withstand earthquakes. They're designed to also withstand even floods, tsunamis. It doesn't make a difference what kind of catalytic weather that you have in that area. They're designed to withstand catastrophic events. And another thing that's a key point about the diesels is that the generators are sealed tight, waterproof tight, so that the water does not get into the motor and cause the motor to shut down during this catastrophic event. But here it shows and appears that it happened inside of Japan, that a meltdown has taken place, and all protocol has failed. Okay, and also even reports from the Japanese news in the Japan Times newspaper reported that there has been cover-ups on top of cover-ups and security breaches and failure to report accurate information on this plant, and stating that this plant was outdated and was in need of dire restorations. And they even warned about it before these events, and nobody even listened to them and ignored the warning signs, and they even labeled it as Russian roulette with a nuclear bombs, for that matter. But so what I see here is also another government document, and this right here is also going to show you how this earthquake and tsunami happened. Okay, now this is not factual to me. It's an opinion from my opinion from this document, from what I took of this document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to take you directly to that document. Hang on just a second here. And what you're going to see here is an actual official government document. Let me go ahead and get it opened up here real quick. Just waiting on my browser. As you can see here is the name of this government agency here is called the hang on, let me find it, cftc.gov. You can go on this website and type in this information. I'll also post a link at the bottom of this video in the information list. But as you go here, I'm going to scroll down here a little bit down this list here, and I'm going to show you some very interesting things here. And hopefully we can get this on video so that you can all see the definite thing here. Okay, this right here is referring to atmospheric research, modification research into force multipliers in the weather patterns that is natural. In other words, adding more power to what is natural by manipulations of the electromagnetic fields, and also the magnetic sphere and the atmosphere ionosphere. And as you're seeing this, they show the diagram of their research and how that they created artificial ionospheric mirrors, and how they use these mirrors to shoot several different megahertz of frequencies up to these mirrors, and these mirrors reflect that frequency back down on Earth. And I'm going to post it. I'm going to try to get right here to this very important part. Look right here very carefully. Right here it states, one major advantage of using simulated weather to archive a desired effect is that unlike other approaches, it makes what are otherwise the results of deliberate actions appear to be the consequences of natural weather phenomenons. In other words, what you're understanding here is that they're creating a deliberate action with manipulations of the weather, triggering tornadoes, earthquakes, hurricanes, adding more power to those what is natural by manipulation, but to do it deliberately and to make it appear as a natural consequences. Now, this right here is a complete illegal international laws of the treaties that were signed of the United Nations in 1970 that forbids them to even use weather modifications. And the governments are doing this in secret, and even the Congress doesn't even know about these research events that are going on with a place called Hart Facility out of Alaska. But this right here is as blatant as you can see, that the governments are literally staging all these events, working together with Israel to make these catastrophics happen. This is what I personally think happened in Japan. Japan had according to the Japanese Meteorological Survey website, they stated that it was a 6.1 earthquake epicenter in the ocean 130 miles off the coast. They also reported that it was a 5.4 earthquake on land in Tokyo, Fukushima, and Hendesu. Now, the problem here is that you have the Western media that has hyped up the numbers to an 8.9, and there's a major reason
and
why.
9.0.
And then change their subject to a 9.0.
They don't keep it straight.
Right. They couldn't even make any kind of numbers here correctly, and they couldn't even get the numbers of the magnitude straight to the public, and the information has been very sensitive and case sensitive. They don't even want to talk about it to the public that are living in Japan right now. But nevertheless, the reason why they reported an 8.9 and a 9.0 is because the 5.4 and the 6.1 earthquake could not create a tsunami. So they wanted to justify the tsunami by hyping up the numbers because the tsunami was actually man-made. The tsunami was actually done by tsunami bombs, and this is even documented facts in the 1940s that the U.S. military came up with bombs to create and trigger tsunamis in the ocean. And you can go even into the New Zealand newspaper. They even have an article on this side, and also you can go to government documents and you can draw this up in the archives of the government of the United States, and it's all right there in the wide open. But this is what I personally feel that these people done. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn to my room, and I hope that my room understood this and that we didn't get bounced out of it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give an opportunity to the room to give any kind of questions or statements or comments to what was being heard and what was being said, and I'll post the links inside of the room where you can all see this information that I'm posting, and giving you all a chance to make your comments on this subject matter. We do need to get this information out. I believe that the public is clearly being lied to, not only with the radiation meltdown inside of Japan, but I also feel like they're lying to what caused this meltdown. They're lying about the information because we see a connection with Israel inside of Japan, and we see the connection of them planting viruses in nuclear power plants to shut them down and cause meltdowns inside of inside of this plant. In other words, sabotaging nuclear power plants in populated areas can render the lives of many and in large numbers. So this is what I personally think happened in Japan. That's the reason why the numbers are very increased. But I'm going to leave it up to you all to voice your opinions and your thoughts, and you tell me what you all want to elaborate on this subject, or if you have any questions, I'll try to answer whatever questions I have. So I'm going to leave the mic free and let anybody come up here and ask their questions, please.
Well, it's not a question, Rooster. It's a statement. We talked about it before about how the couple of different videos that I saw was showing the fish that was washed up with this tidal wave. Now, it's the same type of thing that took place in Indonesia when they had the big one. Now, we know that if it was a normal tidal wave that wasn't caused by man, that these fish would absolutely swim away from any type of huge wave. But these, they even had dolphins, come on land. So this is another another way of showing you that this was not nature causing this. This was man created.
See, what I'm very glad of is that they're not just only myself that is aware of the realities of what's going on. We know that there's something that's been altered in our weather patterns around the country, and not only just around the country, but around the entire world. We sit up here and we witnessed that that Haiti took over 220,000 people's lives. with another same thing effect. The only thing different is that Haiti did not have a tsunami, and but it took more lives than it actually destroyed buildings. And this is what really interests me about this Haiti situation. Of course, it did a lot of damage in the capital, but the outer skirts of Haiti was not as damaged as everywhere else.
There was no cracks.
And there was no cracks in the roads. But then also we had the same effect with the tsunami and earthquake in Indonesia that killed 250,000 people back in 2004. And then the following year after that, another 100,000 wiped off in the same location between that country and the country of Thailand. And then we had the Sichuan, China, that just simply rocked and killed about 100,000 people, real close to 100,000 people. And then we had Sichuan, China that killed 80,000 people. All these phenomenons and catalytic and catastrophic events seems to be happening very close together like a domino effect. They're now getting comfortable with triggering earthquakes that are actually successfully at ending the population and causing mass casualties in these nations. And then also there was another report that I got to find the actual original report of it. There was a report that a rabbi even gave a statement stating that there's going to be the Japanese nation is going to be deleted off the earth, and this is what God had told him. And then he goes on saying that there's going to be a catalytic event, an earthquake, and a tsunami, and even a nuclear accident, where we even have movies such as The Hereafter. The Clint Eastwood film even depicted the tsunami and earthquake and nuclear accident in Japan. Then we have the ABC series that showed in the United States 2 weeks or 3 weeks before
3 days.
Excuse me, is it 3 days? Okay, yeah, it was 3 days before the earthquake happened. It aired inside of the United States, depicting also an earthquake and a tsunami and a nuclear mishap. And then we have this new game that's been hitting the airwaves for the last 2 years, or actually since 1999. It's called the Illuminati card game. The Illuminati card game also depicts Japan's nuclear and earthquake and tsunami. It's really, really strange stuff going on. How can these things be so accurately in predictions and details of the way that it was in real life? That, and it played out in reality of what was shown in the films. Go ahead and take the mic, Shazza.
Also, with that information on these different earthquakes that we've seen happening in the last several years, most of those, and we checked that out thoroughly, most of those designated that people had heard the sonic boom sound as well as a flash of light before these earthquakes took place. Now, I didn't catch whether there was any report in Christchurch over in New Zealand at this time, and I didn't catch whether they reported anything like that in Japan, because probably not as many people are commenting on things that they've seen and heard before. They've just had another big quake in Myanmar. Is that how it's pronounced? Just above Indonesia. Something like that. The same area that had hit before. Yeah. Now we know positively, we've got government documents and so forth, that they are manipulating the weather. They are admitting that they're manipulating the weather. China themselves, before the Olympics, said that they were going to manipulate the weather so it wouldn't rain during the Olympics. Now, we know that for sure. It was out in the news. So there's no doubt about it that they have manipulated the weather. But, yeah, I can't pronounce that one. But that was one that just hit the other day before yesterday, I think. And there was one there close to Burma. So this is information that we know that these things are being man-made. And this is why I made the comment earlier that they are literally trying to wipe people out in different areas. Yes, China, they're trying to, Japan, they totally want to wipe out. But they're also giving you the information and putting the fear back into you too, that there's going to be a great one hitting supposed to hit California this weekend, and also the Madrid fault. They're expecting that as well. So Starlight, it's good to have you here, hon, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Shaza. I just had a question to Rooster. What about this large whirlpool that was seen off the coast of Japan, and it happened, well, probably right before the earthquake hit? What do you know about that, Rooster? Mic's open.
Well, the earthquake that happened, it happened first, and then the whirlpool formed after the tsunami was forming across the ocean or across the land. The whirlpool started showing up when the water, after the water had started destroying the land and rising and flooding out the area. And this whirlpool just shows up out of nowhere in a perfect symmetry, but we don't know if it was a hole in the ground. We don't have any idea how that this whirlpool forms on the bank of this shorelines, and when it's close to, when it's that close to the shore, we don't understand what caused it. I don't even know myself what caused it. But is it possible that HAARP was generating that whirlpool, because HAARP has the ability to generate tornadoes and actually add power to it? This is where it even showed the signatures of HAARP signature in the area. That's my opinion about it. Doesn't mean that it's factual, because I really truly don't have any explanation other than HAARP being there. We don't, because how do you explain a hole getting there? Where did that hole come from to cause such a massive drain in that, that close to the shorelines? And there's no explanation to that. So I rule out it being a hole in the that close to the shorelines. I have 5 minutes left of this video, and so I'm going to try to turn it to somebody else who wants to ask a question. I have 5 minutes left, so anybody else have any other questions that you would like to ask? Feel free to do so now. Okay, so what we have here is, does anybody else have any questions that they would like to ask here? I would be glad to answer your questions. This right here, I want to use up this 5 minutes, as much of this 5 minutes as possible, to give everybody a chance to speak. Go ahead, Shaza, you have the mic.
Okay, thanks, Rooster. Well, and it is a question as well as information. This is the sound that they heard that they thought was an earthquake there in Florida. It didn't show up on the earthquake map. Also, there was supposed to have been an earthquake that hit up in Queensland. This is last week or week before last. And it didn't show up on the earthquake map either, but people reporting hearing the same type of thing. And I did find a video that showed the sound, or gave the sound of somebody had recorded sound that sounded like several airplanes flying over all at one time, but there was nothing in the air. And this is the same sound that two of my friends that lived close to me heard during the night. Well, this is something that's happening too, and this is a new one. We're not sure what the heck it is, or I'm not sure what the heck it is. I don't know if it's a bit of HAARP that they could actually hear, if it's sonic sound that they're hearing. So it's interesting to get that information too. And the two main areas that I noticed that they reported of an earthquake in Florida, it did not show up on the earthquake map. Nobody knew what it was. They rang up and called, and they were very concerned about it, and nothing was released on it. They just had no information on it whatsoever. And the same with up in Queensland. It wasn't reported on the Richter scale. So over to you, Brewster.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on it because I heard you mention almost something like that here just a few minutes ago about the strange sounds and anomalies that are happening inside of the United States on the East Coast that was heard in Florida. The actual report started out on the mainstream media up there, the local news, reported a very strange anomaly, a sound that was even unexplained by the USGS website. Also, we found out that this sound lasted for 20 minutes. Okay, it had a rumbling sound, not like a rolling thunder like you normally would in a normal casual thunderstorm. The sound tones did not change. It did not fade away. Did not fade in. It just simply just continued. And this sound was so forceful that it was even shaking people's houses and even rattling dishes and glassware and picture frames on people's houses. And this was even on the local news. The witnesses to these events flooded the phone lines and calling 911. And the 911 dispatcher in the police department instructed them to tell people to just tell people when they asked that it was planes flying over. And I sit up here and I said, "What are you?" I'm thinking to myself, why would they instruct them to tell people that it's that it's planes flying over? Then they had asked the USGS and they said it was not an earthquake, that it was no thunderstorms, no tornadoes in the area. And it was also heard all the way up in Maryland and heard in several different states. I think it was Illinois and Ohio and also Virginia even heard the same sound that lasted for 20 minutes that scared everybody. And they were even telling their kids to go under, in the bathroom and hide in the bathtub and put something over your heads, blah, 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 etc. I'm just sitting up here trying to figure this out. I have 2 minutes left of the video, so if you want to make another statement real quick, I have only 2 minutes left. Go ahead.
Sorry, Rister, I didn't know that my hand was up there for a moment and I was having a hard time putting it back down. But yes, that was the information, and friends of mine, like I said, heard that same sound when I sent them the video of that so that they could hear it for themselves, because the people that were putting that on the recording, they thought it was a tornado headed for them, and the wife was very, very upset. Her husband went out, was trying to look in the skies to see if he could see anything, and the wife was saying, "Get back in here," It really scared her because of this noise. And two of my friends living in two different towns in this area here heard it about 3 o'clock in the morning. They said it just went right through them, and they could feel the vibration of it. And they said they got a headache from it as well. So it's interesting to wonder what it is. But that's being created too now, so I would say that they're playing around with us a lot, seeing what people are coming up with, experimenting with us again. Over to you, Brewster.
Yeah, I find it's quite interesting. I wish that if your friends was able to record it, that we can actually air it on our video. I'm sorry, guys, that I'm out of time for this live video that were made here inside of Pal Talk and this new information. I only have a 30-minute window. I may make a part 2 out of this, and because I really kind of like this, making this video like this, where we can actually get the room involved, and in all of my daily information that I give to this room and to everybody in YouTube. So, but I want to take the time to say thank you to everybody. And I hope that you all join us next time on our next video. I'm probably going to make a part 2 of the subject, probably tomorrow. Yeah, so, because I really want this information to get out. People need to be really aware and wake up. I want to thank all my YouTube fans for tuning in. You all have a good night until next time. Thank you.